for different parts of their bodies, but the parts that your underwear or your bathing suit covers up, those are called private parts. And nobody is supposed to do anything to those parts of your body, but if they do, you're not in any trouble and you didn't do anything wrong.
When jury members view the forensic interview for the first time,
but it's really important that I know about it. Has anybody tried to do something to the private parts of your body?
Yeah.
Many of them have tears in their eyes.
I have seen people cover their mouth.
We just do either.
I saw a grown man one time look away and mouth, "I can't watch this."
So you live at the house with who?
I'm gonna tell you something. You sit there in a jury and you've got this forensic interviewer interviewing this 6-year-old child, and this child tells you what happened to him. I'm gonna tell you, there's not a dry eye in the place. I mean, that's your case right there.
And we always do like.
I think it helps to put them as close to the child as if they were there when the child was first telling, and that's so compelling.
That's what we mostly play.
So to describe these perpetrators,
What are they called?
right now I feel my chest getting tight because I'm wanting to say what I really think about them.
Something in drum.
These worthless pieces of garbage that would harm a child. It's so important to get everything we can to put them away.
I drew with my dad today.
The Gingerbread House is so important.
My name is Sophia. I was a victim of abuse when I was 13. We went to the police station and they directed us to the Gingerbread House. I was scared because it was a lot of new people and I knew that I was going to have to talk to them. Being 13, I was conflicted because I knew I needed to tell them my story, but at the same time I didn't want to upset my parents. I didn't want to upset my family. I didn't want people to know what had happened because I didn't want them to look at me different. I wanted them to still see me.
You never know when you walk in that door if you might see someone you know. Childhood sexual abuse crosses every boundary. And every time I walk into that waiting room, that's what I think about. You know, it's certainly not just poor children, it's not just wealthy children, it's not just white or black, it's everybody. So I think that it's everybody's problem.
They took me to a room, and in the room there was some chairs and table, and I was able to sit down with one of the forensic interviewers, and she would talk to me and ask me questions. I was aware that they were videotaping it.
We're going to be recording you today, and the camera's going to be right up there. It's in the ceiling. You can look and see it. So there's also microphones in the room on the wall. It's not going to go on TV to be seen by your friends, and we're not going to give it to your school, but we're just recording it to make sure that we don't forget it or mix it up or get anything wrong.
They can do more in 10 minutes than we could have done in hours. Before we had the Gingerbread House, an officer had to go interview the child. You're used to interviewing bad guys. You're not used to interviewing little bitty children. And most officers are not trained in that.
And then we're going to put your name right here and tell me how old you are.
7.
We are asking them questions on their level.
So what kind of things do you like to do for fun?
And we're talking to them about things, at the beginning at least, that they're very comfortable with.
Do you go swimming is it actually at your house, or do you go swimming at a pool somewhere else?
At my house.
Okay.
And once they build that trust in that child, then the child, if there is anything there, they're going to tell it. And when they tell it, then we're in another room. We're watching it live right there. And that's part of our policy over there. We have to have social worker there, then we have to have a law enforcement officer.
I'm on this side with a microphone, walkie-talkie, in order to communicate. If there's any extra questions I have, ask her if the lights were on or off.
Do you remember if the lights were on or were they off?
On.
They were on, okay. And that way it's not numerous adults asking the child questions all at once, and they're not feeling bombarded by questions. They can feed them through me, and then I'm able to put them in language that's appropriate for that child.
The tape is such a necessary part of the prosecution because it's in the child's own words, and you can see that the child has not been coerced in a particular way because the interviewers know how to keep from coercing. We just want the truth.
We record all the forensic interviews on 2 DVDs, and they're both considered originals, and those leave with law enforcement, and those are the children's official tape statements.
Before the Gingerbread House was started back in 1998, less than 5% of cases were being successfully prosecuted. And the number one reason for that was that children were made to talk to anywhere between 8 to 11 different adults. We've been able to lower the number of interviews to 1. And so to be able to go from less than 5% successful prosecution to now modern day where we're over 96-97% successful prosecution, I think it just speaks volumes as to the quality of services that we provide. We can only do that through our team.
This is the play therapy room where children come once they've gone through the forensic interview process. There's a drawing up here. It demonstrates that the child's living in chaos right now, that their world's been a little bit turned upside down. What things that are going on with her, there's the darkness that still is there, but yet there's the red on the other side with some pink and blue and light-hearted colors. And so she's making progress.
Okay, you just look around and make yourself at home.
Children work through things differently than adults do, especially young children. They don't know the words to use to express how they're feeling. And it's important to pay attention when they're picking certain things. They may not even be aware of why they're choosing that animal. And it's interesting to see that over time, that 3-headed dog may turn into, I don't know, a puppy or a cat. So the progression is neat to see.
When the families first come in for the interview, you can hear the pain in their voices, the hurt, they're scared, they have no idea what to expect. We're here to provide that support and that comfort to the families and let them know that everything will be okay.
And very often you see some very, very positive developments. And getting on with being a regular child and having a good life, you see that, you see it. Yeah, not in all cases, but you see it just enough and just often enough that, okay, yeah, this works.
They helped me when I was struggling, and they helped me go through the toughest time in my life. Everyone who had a part in the forensic interview, talking to me in the waiting room, every person that was in the Gingerbread House when I was there made such an impact and made it so much easier for me.
This is Sophia.
I'm 28 years old now.
I'm good. How are you?
It's such a good life I have, and I'm happy. I'm not the girl who got abused. The 28-year-old Sophia would tell the 13-year-old, it's gonna be okay. I would tell her that you can be strong and that it's going to be hard. I would tell her that you have family and friends that love you. And you have a great team at the Gingerbread House who are going to be there, and they're here to help you.